Hello, everyone. I'm gonna tell you a story of my lifetime in software development about my first 90 days in a new company or a new role. I'm gonna quickly start the presentation so you can see everything. The name of the talk came from a very interesting book, which is called My First 90 Days. And I read this book some time ago before one of the jobs, and I got so inspired and decided to share my experience of starting different jobs at different companies, that you can also draft your way of starting in the ideal case scenario or your own case scenario. So a few words about myself. I'm joining today from sunny Germany. It's very surprisingly sunny today. And I'm originally from Ukraine. I moved to Berlin around 7 years ago, and I am playing the role of the Associate Director of Engineering at Soundwide at the moment. And in my free time, I'm organizing the PyBerlin meetup. It's a very nice meetup based in Berlin. It's all about Python and the ecosystem. And I have overall 11 years of experience in software development, and 7 of them are in Python. So you can imagine how happy I am with Python at the moment. And I found it very useful to collect experience across different types of the organizations and also different types of jobs that I did in different companies, different teams also within different companies. And I'm going to share my own experience in starting a new job with you. So today's talk is not about you. It's not about me. It's about you and your future experience, and how can you improve that experience with the tips that I can give you. Before preparing this talk, I was thinking, okay, what is my inspiration for the first 90 days, or why is it even important? So I started searching on internet, how to start a new job, what would be the first task, how to prepare. And this is what I found. So people were also curious about what do you do in the first 90 days in the new job? What are the things which are the most important? What are the tasks to focus on? And why is it 3 months? What should be included in the plan? And I decided myself to start with something else, with the book. So this book was a very nice inspiration for me for my future jobs that I tried. And this is my own copy, as you can see on the screen. It has a lot of stickers. Those stickers are basically the notes of the things that I really liked. It's a lot of them in the book. And I'm gonna stop for some different things that I applied within my new jobs. Not only one job, because I read it quite some time ago, and I really like the approach described in the book. It did help me to develop my own strategy of starting the job, to prepare for the interviews, and well, to get excited about the job and be prepared at the same time. So let's focus on something fundamental, something that you need to know how to start. When I was talking to different people from different communities, I was asking, like, how do you really start the job and how do you prepare yourself? Because before even I moved to Germany, I had the same feeling. When I'm starting the job, I was questioning myself, am I good enough at this? Am I good enough for this new job? What to do to improve that experience? So I was seeking for different advices from different people and asking, what do I do? How to start, how to prepare, not only by reading books, but also maybe doing some practical parts. And if you are starting a new job or starting a new role within maybe the same company, or thinking how to start, I would give you some advices that you might be able to use. So first of all, you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare for the future job that you're going to do, future role, and the things that you might know. Let's say you're prepared, you feel that you're ready, or you don't feel that you're ready, but the next step would be to learn. this learning and taking notes that I'm mentioning here, it's not about learning how to do your job. You know your job because you got the job. That means that you are good enough for the team. And you need to think that you know everything, and what you don't know, you will learn. But in this case, learning is about learning about the company, about the culture. So whether you are a developer or a tech leader, it doesn't matter. You need to learn what the culture is within the company. How do they do things before taking actions? Of course, you can, come in and then say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, but you don't know the background. So maybe something that feels not right to you in the first day would feel as a very good solution on the second day if you know the background and how the team came to that one. So that's why learning about the company, the ecosystem, the tools, and the ways of working is so important at any job, at any company. And as soon as you learn something, you need to adapt your strategy. So if you're a tech leader or engineering manager or head of engineering, you need to have a strategy how to build the team, how to build the products that you're building. And you always need to come up with the strategy. This is on you. Like, this is literally part of the job. Some of the people are already coming with a ready-made strategy, and you need to be able, if you have the strategy, you need to be able to adapt that strategy. If you don't have a strategy yet, I mean, who can expect you to come up with a strategy before you start the job or on the day one? You need to be able to really quickly get into the job and learn as much as possible to create that strategy and adapt it on the way. The next topic is how to secure early wins. This is actually for you to focus on a very first steps that you can easily take without learning everything ideally, without spending a year or like 3 months or half a year. This is during your learning experience. What can you improve right away? And then you need to focus on a very important aspect of the job is to build your own team, to focus on what is important for the team, what is important from the project that you're working on, to support the team, to build that team either from scratch or improve the ways of working to make sure that they can deliver what is the product is. So what are the requirements from the product side? And the last but not least is to accelerate everyone. This is the order, basically, how I would start the new job. Let's focus on every aspect of this order of the things. So the first one is to prepare yourself. I would actually start preparing before starting the job. Before even you got the offer, you have a chance to prepare yourself for the future self, basically for the job that you're going to do. So for me, this preparation phase starts during the interview process. The moment I start the interviews with the people, doesn't matter if it's me interviewing the person or I interview the person, this is the moment of the first touch when you talk to people. So if you're the person being interviewed, so you're looking for a job and this is going to be your job, you need to think on what is the most important for you for the job. And then you would see also what is the most important for the person who is interviewing you, because they would ask questions based on their needs and based on their requirements for the job. So my advice is to focus on things important to you and the challenges that you want to solve, and really ask those questions from different people, from different stakeholders, from different managers. Maybe if you can meet your future manager or manager of your manager or somebody within the company during the interview who can give you more insights of what are the challenges and what are the expectations, that would be ideal. And of course, one of the most important things, when you already accept the job, you already know everything that you're going to do. I mean, it's like 80%, I would say. You know what are the expectations, because this is how you decided to take the job, and this is how they decided to take you for the job. So you might need to already start thinking, what is the strategy? So what do I do on the day one? For me, it makes a lot of sense, if it's of course possible, to meet for 1 hour maybe, or I don't know, coffee break or something with your future manager, to really focus on the things which are important for the manager, because they have the vision that you don't have at the moment. They know what is required for the job. They know what can you bring into the play. And you can already ask, what do they expect? So when you start at a new company or a new role within the same company, expectations are the most important thing. You need to manage them within your team, also outside of the team, and of course with your manager. You have to make it clear that if expectations are not the same, you need to make clear what is your job about. Because if, for example, you are a manager and you have direct reports and they expect something certain from you and they're not getting that, of course, there would be some frustration and also misalignment. So your team will not be successful as it could be. So it's important to learn from your manager what are the expectations, manage those expectations, and also make it clear to the team what you're going to work on. So why are you here? You're here as an expert in a certain area, and you're here to support the team as much as possible. So let's say we're all done, we're all through, first day is already passing, and then what do we do? So I really like the quote from the book that I mentioned: recruiting is like romance and employment is like marriage. You really need to work on your employment. You need to invest some time into learning a bit more to be successful, and also for your team to be successful. The best questions to ask are usually about the past of the team. So what did they do? What worked? What didn't? The present, where they are at the moment, and the future, where they want to be. If they have some strategy, like product strategy, what is the plan? Then you have already some direction that you can base your strategy on. But that's very tricky. Can happen that you come to the team, even to a new team, and you have to build this vision. You have to build that strategy. Then you have to be very fast in the decisions, because your team is depending on this decision. And you need to come up with some solutions sometimes, or you need to sit a bit longer on the observing part and then ask a bit more questions to finalize your strategy. Sometimes you need to leverage those two, waiting a bit and then introducing something, or acting very early on if there is a need. So you really need to analyze the situation and act depend on it. I can suggest you to use the STARS framework. It's a very nice framework based on different types of the organizations, different levels of the growth. And based on that, they have different challenges. And based on the challenges, you can adapt your strategy pretty well. So I recommend you to look into the source. You can also find this chart within the book of the first 90 days. And of course, the first thing that I would ask in the job when I start, is there a roadmap? So let's say there is a roadmap, it's all nice, you have it, and you can see what is planned. Although the roadmap could be for a few months, could be for a few weeks, or could be for a few years. To create the proper strategy, you need a vision. You need to see where we are going to in a few years at least. The best case scenario, as the manager would say, is a 5 years roadmap strategy. But not always it's in there. You know, if it's not there, what do? You just create one. So the one that worked for my team specifically was the Miro board one. And we were able to move interactively all the different pieces, all different items. And we showed all the possible work that we can do based on different stream-aligned teams, also different enabling teams. And we saw at the first weeks, I would say, when I started at a new job, we saw that we are doing way too much work. That if we want to deliver faster, we need to stay focused on something. Because if we take too much work, then it's extending the timelines. If you focus on something and then just deliver it faster, it's better than staying focused on so many things and not delivering anything. So that's why roadmap is so important. It's basically the visual representation of what you do. Okay, the early wins. How do we secure them? How do we act, or what do we even do in here? I have a few things that I can already mention based on my experience. The first and the most important one is you have to understand that based on your decisions, the team will be successful or not, the product will be successful or not. This is on you, if you're a manager of the team, to take the decisions. This is basically your job to create a strategy. And unfortunately for you, when you start a new job, you need to learn. You need to learn a lot. And at the same time, you need to take decisions. And when you decided not to take any decisions, this is a decision. This is a decision not to take any decisions. Some of the things, they have to be decided. It's better to try something and fail and then learn from it instead of not doing anything and just waiting until something else happens. So some of the teams I worked on they had some decisions pending for quite some time, and it was a big frustration for the team. So what the team did, they took decisions on their own. They started doing some things. And if, for example, there is a decision which is overarching a few teams, so let's say one team decided to go with the solution A and another decided with the solution B. And then there is somebody coming and then saying, oh, you know what? We had to go back then with the solution A. So then one team already implemented that and it's already working. So now they would question, why didn't you say us before? So why didn't you help us beforehand? That would also make a lot of frustration. And can happen that you decided to go with the solution A and then it didn't work out. And then you need to refocus on the solution B. It's perfectly fine. It's not required that you always take all the decisions that are working 100%. You just need to make sure that your strategy is aligned with the business goals, with what the team can deliver, and with the strategy of the entire company. And then just go there step by step. And in the meantime, you can introduce small improvements, like, for example, having a roadmap or helping the team to decide what to improve or to look into the code or the structure or the ways of working from the outside. Because when you come to a new team, you are a new person who didn't know anything before. So you will question everything. And then you will ask, why is this working like that? Why is this working like that? And it's a huge benefit for the team that you're working in, that you will question everything. And then you can show them that, okay, this is not how I know it's supposed to work. Maybe there is a better solution. Because when the team works for such a long time within a very specific environment, all the humans, they're getting used to the things that they are working every day. And it's not bad. It's just sometimes you don't see the things that could be improved easily. Maybe there is a super tiny improvement which can change the ways of working. And if you work every day with the same thing, you're just getting used to it. So then you will not even think that it could be improved. And of course, let's say you have some strategy, you have some decisions taken, you improved some small things. You need to also analyze what would be your next task? What is the priority? So what is the order of the things you need to do? And it's very important that you do one step, one improvement, one change at a time. So you can really measure and then see what is the improvement, if it's working or not. Because if you take, for example, too many changes into the project, and then you cannot really see which one of those worked and which didn't. Although if you take, for example, a few improvements in different areas which are not intersecting with each other, that's fine. You can measure that, you can see. But if you, for example, change the way how the team works, and then you change also the way how the team works in a specific thing, and then you change again, and then you change again, you introduce something else, and then it's going to be a huge mess. So you will not be able to untangle what actually worked and analyze better. And one more thing, for building a new team or your current team, you can use the core domain charts to model the way how the team is set up, also how the complexity and the business differentiation is set up, and where do you see your team in the future. You can read more about the core models, core domain charts, but the idea is to put the teams or domains, for example, sub-teams or different subtopics that you're working on within this chart to show how complex is it to add new feature and how much money basically it brings. So how how different this business is from all the existing on the market. So if it's very generic, that means that you can buy it and you don't need to invent another solution. If it's supporting, that means it's something that already supports the main core driver of the revenue stream of the company. And the core, it's a very core solution which doesn't exist anywhere on the market. So this is something that you cannot buy anywhere. This is a very unique something about the company. You can also read about different core domain charts and different ways of placing them from the domain-driven design team, and also find it on GitHub. And of course, it's very important that you are there in the company, in the team, to accelerate everyone, to accelerate your own team and also the teams who are depending on your team, also the people who are depending on your decision. So you need to improve communication, also ways how the setup is working. Maybe you need to split the team a bit further into smaller teams, or maybe you need to take a look from the team topology perspective and then see what can be set up differently on how to improve and accelerate the teams. And the things that you can focus on, you can help the team to define roles and responsibilities. So for example, if there is an area which nobody knows who is responsible for, you can also split that within the team members. So then whenever something comes up, they already know who is the go-to person for a specific question, or what is expected from a person on a specific role. And of course, if you're a manager and you're starting a new job, it's important that you're open to support everyone. And you need to prioritize this support to be there for the team members, to provide them the guidance that they need, also to answer the questions that they need. And for this, and also for bringing structure in, I suggest you to use some structured processes, something that already you know how to use, or maybe experiment with some different new technologies. You can use roadmaps. You can use different functionality from Jira if you're using Jira, for example, or you can use any other, but more or less structured process or well-defined process that you know of. And this is basically the end of the talk. And I really recommend you to read that book about 90 First Days. It will give you a lot of insights about how to start a new job, what to do, and what to focus on.